Hello. Today I want to talk about one of Patanjali's Yamas or restraints. These are things that we need to get rid of in ourselves so that we don't keep creating negative karma. You can think of the yamas and niyamas as sort of a code of ethics, a way to live a moral and good life, and a way to attain freedom from those things that hold us back and keep us from soaring in God's light and joy. The main thing about the yamas and the niyamas, the restraints, the things not to do, and the niyamas are the things to do, to cultivate in ourselves. These are a way to be happy, a way to find deep and fulfilling joy in life. So, I don't think anyone would be drawn to watching this program if they were still in the consciousness of hot wiring cars to steal them or to shoplift from the grocery store. But if you are still operating on that level of consciousness, I urge you to change your life and not do those things and restrain that impulse to steal. It just creates misery-making karma. It perpetuates the cycle of desire and loss, feeding more desire and more loss, creating a bad cycle of action and reaction. And hopefully all of us watching today are not interested in stealing the credit for something that we didn't do, or plagiarizing someone's work, or anything like that. But it's subtler levels that we need to work on deeply to change the subtle reactions and thoughts and feelings that we have inside. So, for example, let's imagine that someone is telling us a joke, and we've heard this joke before. We know the punchline. And at the appropriate moment, right before the other person rolls out the punchline, we have a great desire and impulse to just slip it in before they do and get the laugh ourselves. We know the punchline, we want to say it, and yet it is higher to restrain ourselves. That person is experiencing joy. They're having fun telling the joke. Why steal that joy? Why steal the punchline? Let them have their moment. Laugh appreciatively. Let them enjoy having told a good joke. So that's the sort of restraint that on subtler levels we need to work with. Not stealing someone's enthusiasm for a project, for anything. You can imagine it as though you're with a child who has a doll, and he or she loves the doll and has great enthusiasm for it. There's no point in saying to the child, "That's really a very dumb idea. You're just playing with an inanimate object. You're giving all this love to something that's not real. You should get rid of dolls altogether. It's just a stupid thing to do." Why would you want to do that? Let the joy that the child is feeling for the doll, let them express that joy. The love that they feel, let them shower that, even though it's on an inanimate object. It teaches them about loving and caring and gives them that joy of loving something. Why take that away? Why steal that away? So as we progress on this spiritual path, these yamas and niyamas, the things not to do on this spiritual path and the things to cultivate in order to have a happy life, they get subtler and subtler. It's as though we are on a spiral staircase that's going higher and higher. We come back around to these core principles, but in a higher octave each time. And so eventually we will get to the point where we realize on a deep way, not just an intellectual way, but on a feeling and deep way, that God is really the doer. We are not even doing our own life. We're making choices, we're doing our best, we're struggling, we suffer, we go through so much. But ultimately, we need to realize that great mystery that God is the doer. The Bhagavad Gita says, relinquish all delusions of personal doership. God alone is the doer. And so in that sense, ultimately, we need to realize that our great triumphs, as well as our great failures, are God's. And we don't even want to steal away ourselves from God. We give him all the glory, we give him everything, the good and the bad, and realize that it's all his show. It's not really anything to do with us. A flower grows and blossoms and fades away. Does it do it by its own power, or does it do it by that divine blueprint that's deeply embedded in the very seed of that flower? So we are growing and changing and evolving, but it's God through us who has created this being, created all beings. And so we don't even want to steal ourselves away from God. There's a very sweet way of thinking of Krishna in the Hindu religion, that Krishna, who is an embodiment of God, an incarnation of God, is called Chittachor, the stealer of hearts. And the more that we can manifest that vibration of God consciousness, the more God can work through us to give people his love, his joy, his freedom. And so let us think of God as having stolen our hearts away. And the more that we live in his bliss, the more we can help him to steal away other hearts. God bless you.